So our one of our esteemed partners, who reminds me from time to time that he got his license the year I was born, was telling me today. He said, "Back in my day," he didn't talk like that, but this is how he talks today. "Back in my day, 1 month of rent would cover your entire year of taxes."
Yeah.
I'm like, how cool is that?
Wow.
That's not the case anymore.
No. So this is what's happening today in the marketplace, and we're going to keep doing this. Maybe every month we'll do a sort of update on the show, because I don't think people are quite caught up. And here we are in July, and are not understanding, hey, the things that we're going through, right? So in the marketplace. But before we get to that, we want to let you know about our 2-day event, which is now online. And we want to make sure that you go to mrtxrei.com. That's mrtxrei. It's a 2-day online class. It's absolutely phenomenal. We do it once in a month. We do it live like every quarter. The next live is going to be in Los Angeles.
Oh,
so we'll be in Los Angeles. Yeah, we'll see you out there. And we'll go through it. And then when we're not traveling, we'll do it online. So mrtxrei.com. Make sure you check it out.
Can we do it at the Burbank Airport?
No, we're going to do it at the
stay in Newport.
Yeah, but United is not a good flight to Burbank from here.
Oh, I take Southwest.
I know. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Bummer. Okay. So taxes and insurance, we're having a lot of conversations in our funds and syndications right now. And at least on the single family side, we're seeing that burn rate is up 40%. Taxes are up 20, 30%. Insurance is doubled. It's like, it's really expensive. And that was the conversation I was having with our partner this morning. He's like, he goes, guys like y'all that are 70 to 80% leverage. He's like, how do you make money?
Right.
I'm like, you don't right now.
Right.
Your taxes have gone up so much and your insurance has gone up so much. It's eating away all your cash flow. And so we're having conversations with our folks and our investors in our funds, our LPs. And we're like, hey, this is what's going on, guys. What do y'all want to do?
Right.
Like, and I don't think that's going to improve. You're not going to get this tax relief that's running its way through the Texas House right now. Even if they pass it, we're talking about, I'm trying to remember. It would start next year or something like that. But we're talking about, I think it's $100 per 100,000, or so it's maybe like $1,000. I mean, it's not anything substantial, right?
No.
And he had mentioned, he's like, the taxes are one thing, but he said, we need some insurance relief in this state. For whatever reason, insurance, and I believe it's related to the cost of materials and cost of labor, is gotten absolutely out of control.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I mean, we have this conversation. It's like, are we spending our time creating wealth and generating income, or are we spending our time dealing with fires, right?
Yeah.
And that big fire was a pretty big investor-friendly insurance company had one of their portfolio guys just drop out of the state.
Yeah, so we got a letter the day they dropped us.
Yeah.
And what was funny is somebody said, don't they have to give you like a 30-day notice or something? I'm like, I don't know. It hit our desk on the day it expired. Right. So, of course, when does this always happen? Friday.
Always on Friday, yeah.
So you're like scrambling at 3:00 to get all your buildings covered. It was an absolute just nightmare.
And so we have a lot of our stuff is actually with mortgage lenders, right? So it's we've transitioned out a lot of the private stuff, but that's even worse, because then we just get a letter the next Friday that says, hey, we're force placing coverage and this is the number. We don't care.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And there's nothing you can do about it, right? So you're scrambling, like, please, please, please. Okay, we'll take it for 30 days. We understand there's a gap here. So we're doing that. We had someone working about 8 to 10 hours a week for the last 2 months on just insurance.
Yeah.
Just crazy stuff.
So when I get emails like, Jason, can we get the current this and the current that for this syndication? I'm like, I have one guy that spends 10 hours a week just responding to insurance companies. Like, I really don't. And quite honestly, we didn't know either. Just how labor intensive
some of
these assets are, right? Yeah. It's like, geez, we get insurance inquiries weekly. Hey, we need you to go out and take a picture of the roof. Hey, it looks like, we need a new deck page, right? Because everything's escrowed. So it's just constant, this cacophony of these things, right?
Right. And because there is the business world sees a looming commercial real estate crash.
Yeah.
And technically, our loans fall under commercial real estate.
Yes.
So from the top down, there is scrutiny everywhere.
Mhm.
We were talking to one of our hard money friends, and they were like, we've been hit with more audits in the last 90 days. Like when things were good, there was never an audit. We never did anything. We just kept running the line, drawing the line down, paying the line back, run it down. And he's like, the amount of information now we have to send back to these people, same dilemma. It's like, do I have the time to make money and grow wealth, or do I have to basically do the admin stuff? And so when we first started, the admin side of it was maybe 15 to 20%. I'd say it's probably closer to 35% now of our time.
Easily. And it's, and then the inquiries we get from investors, they're scared because they're in other investments that are just crashing. Let's just call it what it is. I mean,
they're in other things that are not doing well, and they're looking at their stock market, and there's uncertainty in the marketplace. We totally get it, but here it is. It's like insurance went up, taxes went up, and interest rates. Thank God we got most of our stuff refied, but there's still a number of our properties that have to get refied, and boy, it's really hard to swallow an 8% plus loan, right?
Yeah, I did. My last two were 8.125, and that's just what it is, And then some folks say, "Well, why don't you buy down the rate?" And I'm like, "You're going to be refinancing these things in a couple years,
3 to 5 years anyway." Yeah, we want to get as quickly as possible, but I don't think most people even understand. Like today, prime rate is 8.25%.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah,
right. And we were running at prime was what, $2?
Yeah,
2%,
nothing.
2.5%, 3% was getting crazy.
Well, let's look. Tomorrow, the Fed, if you guys are listening to this, it's Tuesday, but Wednesday, the Fed comes out, and they are probably going to hike one last time.
And you think 25 or 50?
I think it'll be 25.
Yep.
Let me pull up MBS News real quick. Let's see where we're at.
So we can see the prime rate at 8.5%.
Which is wild. Well, the spreads are still so screwed up.
Yep.
That's the thing. It doesn't make any sense. All right. That's MBS and Treasury prices. I need mortgage rates. Today's mortgage rates are 7.04 for a 30-year fix.
It's over 7. That's an individual mortgage rate.
Yeah, add at least a point and a half.
So we're a point
investors.
And a half over. Yeah, that's the scary stuff, right? So we've turned to private lenders. That has helped. But on some of this stuff, it's just like, hey, we got the original note holder, whether it's a hard money loan or a private lender, and they're just like, hey, man, I want my money.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So then we got to go and eat a 9% loan.
Well, and over at, they just produced another video today over at Altos Research. And then I read an article from, it was on Zero Hedge. I don't think it was calculated risk, but it was one of the other guys that basically said, did you guys notice what happened to home prices last 2 months? 2 months? We were up 0.99 last month, and we're up 0.7 this month. So we may round the end of the year here at 7-8% increase in home prices.
And be down on listings?
Yeah, listings are way down. It's never been this low. In fact, if you look at it as a per capita rate, this is the lowest sales in the history of the United States.
Wow.
It's absolutely bananas. So a lot of people keep thinking, oh, there's got to be there's a crash, there's a this, there's that. I'm like, that's not going to happen. We're at the low. We're at the low. And Mike brought it up on his podcast last week, or it was the week before, that when new listings fall below their year over year, meaning new listings at the same time last year are lower than the year before, you will begin to experience price hikes in the next 6 to 12 months. So we're about to see prices start rising again.
On top of it, right. So here's, all right. So all the bad news. All right. Good news.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Everything we have has a ton of equity.
Well, that's the funny conversation we're having with investors, right? It's like, hey, these things are a little cash trapped, but there is value there.
Right.
I mean, there's versus like some of these things are going to foreclosure that we're watching these multifamily lenders, multifamily investors get smoked. There's no equity in there. That's why they're having to give them away. So we may be asking for capital calls and cash, but the thing I keep telling everybody is I'm like, you look at these numbers, guys, and there's equity here.
Well, I just watched you and our favorite real estate agent go through about 250 listings, right?
Yeah.
And I'm busy, so I'm in and out of the room. And every time I look up, and I'm like, "What? 245 for that? Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you're not in the deals every day, you don't see it, right?
It's like, I bought on that block for 125.
Yeah.
We put 60 in 185. Wow, it's already up 70 grand. This is amazing.
In 2 years, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of wild when you look at all these markets and so I'm getting a lot of emails on one of our syndications. Hey, Jason, how'd you come up with that valuation? I'm like, real simple. There is nothing on the market for less than 100 grand a door.
Yeah.
We got 34 units in there, or no, 31 units in there, 3.1 million, right?
Some combination. Yeah.
Some combination of that, right? Or I'm like, but I'm seeing a lot of stuff trade at 120K a door. That puts us at 3.7 million. And they're like, and everyone's like, okay, it seems reasonable to me. I'm like, I'm just kind of sharing with you the market because I'm in that market every day, right?
Every day.
Yeah.
I'll be down there tomorrow. So, the good news is the values have gone up. So whatever you're sitting on, you're going to go through a temporary pain here, right? Because, I mean, had we known that insurance was going to double in some cases and taxes was going up so high, we would have been asking for higher rent.
Yeah.
Of course, we would have not rented them as quickly as possible, right? But, it takes time for your rent to catch up. And maybe it doesn't catch up out of this cycle.
This is one of the things I warned about for the last 5 years. Values are going to go up so fast.
Yes.
Rents are not going to keep pace. You're going to be negative cash flow or flatline, but you're going to have to be able to carry it for a year or two because the appreciation is going to be mind-boggling. So a buddy of mine I've been friends with for like 25 years. He's an investor in one of our funds, and we were going back and forth on email. And I said, here's the deal, dude. They're worth a lot more.
Yep.
But there's no cash flow here. There's no, I mean, and the conversation we're having with everybody in that syndication right now is, hey guys, we got an option to pull your money out.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to get it out at par. You've already been paid some money. You've already been paid anyway, right? Not a lot, but you've gotten some return there. Otherwise, we got to do a capital call. We got to stick with this thing for like another 2 years, maybe 24 months.
Yeah.
And the capital call is going to be big because it's kind of break even, right? So we got to pay for turns and, a little make ready expense, that sort of thing. So it's, and I said, this is the conversation he and I had. I said, you got into this for the cash flow and a little bit of equity. Now there's a lot of equity and no cash flow. So I'm like, I can't make the decision for you. But if you're looking for cash flow on this thing, let's put your money in something else, right? So that's been the conversation of late.
So, but let's break it down to, okay. So one of our investors said, man, you're just talking about all this scary stuff. It's like, well, we have uncertainty in the marketplace. And for any type of investor, that is scary, right? We just don't know, right? But the things we do know, the equity's going up, prices are climbing. We're watching that. And that is at the retail level, right? That medium home price. So the stuff that we have is moving a lot faster. Like you said, we can't find a multifamily for less than $100 a door. And they're 1 bedrooms.
Yeah. We just looked at one and
the Cashmere Gardens, for
100K a door, and they are 1-1s.
1-1s. Right.
Well, my stuff in Baytown appraised at 125 a door.
Yeah.
And then the other one was like 130, 140 a door. I mean, that's kind of the new marketplace, right?
So again, for us, our motto is, and it's not ours, we heard it from someone, is survive the 25, right? And so the problem is, here we are in July for timing. If we wait 18 months, we're going to be in January. It's still not the time to list, right? So it's going to be really 21 months before we start seeing, really sort of reaping the reward for sticking with it.
Yeah.
Right. And so, do we want to turn tail and run? No, we got way too much in the ground. We're going to be able to reap those rewards in about 21 months.
Yeah.
And, we have to communicate that. We have to tell that message. And if you're an investor and you have, if you're doing things that we're doing and you've got some private investors lined up, this is the tale we have to tell. And in other marketplaces, it's even better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, geez, I think I was looking at when I left California, what I would have bought for about 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, we were at lunch. And you pulled up the old house.
I was like, look at that. I had that offer in at like $520 and it's now worth $800,000.
Yeah.
It's like, yikes, 6 years.
So I'm going through the whole exercise that you have everybody in the mastermind go through, where you start with your BAM and then the BLF from BAM to BLF. And so I'm looking at houses on Newport Beach, and I'm going back 20 years and looking at the values. it's a solid 15 to 16% return every single
When
year.
when I was working on those houses, because we went to the neighborhood 4 years ago. Remember?
Oh yeah.
We were driving up, and you was at that bar. Did you work right? And
Yeah.
When I was first getting introduced to those properties, they were 1.8 to 2.3 million.
That's crazy.
Right. And that would have been 2012, 2014. Yeah. So in 10 years, they've almost tripled.
Yeah. But when you sit down and do the compound annual growth rate, you'll figure it's 15, 16%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And where else can you park? I mean, now the ones I'm looking at now, if you're not on the beach, you could get something pretty solid for about 3 million, 2 to 3 million. If you are on the beach, they start at 5.
Yep.
So $5 to $8 million with a 16% year return.
Where
that's an equity. That? They're going to be negative cash flow.
Sure, but you're going to get depreciation.
Yeah, you're going to get depreciation, all that. And of course, the maintenance on them is, I don't know, you live there, about zero, right? I mean,
there's no real, there is a bit of a marine layer, but
you don't really get the sea spray like you get here.
No, it's not that.
And roofs, ACs and all that last forever there.
Especially at the beach.
Yeah, it low of 65, high of 79. That's where it is year round.
There's about 10 to 20 days a year where you actually have to turn the AC on.
And then it rains and everyone freaks out.
Freaks out, but you've got tile roofs, they last forever.
Yeah. So when your maintenance is pretty low, your insurance is horrendous. I can tell you that. It's about $2,500 a month. But where else could you park $5 million and you're going to get 15, 16% pretty regularly? It's kind of wild. So in any case, it's interesting to watch. And then you look around triple prices and you're like, no, that's just 10% a year in appreciation.
So we would tell folks, hey, you're going to have to bring a little extra cash. You got to be prepared. It's going to be a higher interest rate. But man, what we feel over the next 21 months, as far as equity wise, is going to be phenomenal. We have no problem, in our portfolios and projecting out 10% a year, right? We have no problem on the properties that we're buying. Sometimes even higher. Like if we're doing at the beach and we have a beach house and stuff like that, we're even looking even better. So if you're getting into the game now, what you're going to be looking for is properties that are going to, that you can just about hit that 1% rule right now. You get a little bit of carry, not going to be $500 a month cash flow, but there's going to be something. But just know, man, if we can refi in 24 months, you're in a really good shape, right? You'll be able to pull all your money out and go do it again.
This reminds me a lot of the COVID marketplace.
Everybody
was scared. They disappeared. And then what happened? Interest rates dropped and folks went on an absolute tear. And that is going to happen again.
For sure.
But what you've got to recognize now, what's different than COVID, is that people have not bought houses for this long, if that makes sense. The demand has been pent up much longer than during COVID. COVID was just a couple of months. Remember we all hunkered down? I was hosting all those house parties.
I mean, the buying spree was less than a year.
Yeah, but I mean, we were on essentially lockdown for about 2 months down here, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, and about 4 months. Yeah,
and then it opened back up, and then it was like boom, everybody was buying. Right. That is going to happen again because we're all pent up. We're all kind of interest rates are too high. I'm locked into a 2.5% mortgage, and I don't want to move.
Yeah.
And then what's going to happen? As soon as rates drop, we get down to the magic number is 5.5. We get down to 5.5. It is going to kick off a buying spree. It's going to make COVID look like a popsicle. Like it's going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah, 5.5 is that magic number, and it started dropping 2 weeks ago. I was like, "Ooh, look at that 6.8."
Yeah,
and we're not too far off because I think people entered the market back in about 6.25, and like you said, 5.5, it'll go crazy, right?
And when that pop happens, what I'm telling everybody, that's going to be the time that you're going to sell. You're going to get a massive amount of price appreciation.
For sure. Yep.
That house will be 50 to 75% more valuable.
Yep.
You'll be able to sell to and pay one off.
Exactly.
You got $3 or $4 million in free and clear real estate because you bought 5, 6, 7 million.
Absolutely.
You're going to be in a pretty good place.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, if you're interested in building out your portfolio, you want to grow this stuff, hey, let us know. Go ahead and text the word portfolio to 281-401-9008. We have a 10-house program. You can go right to our website, mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr., TX is in Texas, RE is in realestate.com. Click the button that says join the mastermind. You'll see the whole program that we do. It makes a ton of sense for people who are just looking, hey, I just want to create a couple $1 million worth of wealth and get some cash flow during retirement, right? So Let us show you how to retire early and retire well by texting the word portfolio to 281 401 9008. Thanks.